All right, so quickly we move forward towards our third panel. And our third panel discussion is going to be about customer engagement marketing, making a lasting impact. And for our panel discussion, I would like to request the presence of Narinder Kaur, GM Corporate, Morepen Labs. Our next speaker is Navneet Khurana, Vice President, Digital Marketing, Home Credit India. So we are still left with two more panels and one more corporate presentation. And after that, we are going to have the much-awaited segment of our event, which is going to be the India CX Awards. So we have on stage with us Ms. Narinder Kaur, GM Corporate, Morepen Labs. Let's give her a big round of applause, everyone. Next, we have on stage is Mr. Navneet Khurana, Vice President, Digital Marketing, Home Credit India. Heartiest welcome. I'm going to invite Ms. Ruchita Jain, Head AVP Customer Insights, Axis Max Life Insurance. Heartiest welcome. I would like to invite on stage Ms. Reena Jivani, DVP Marketing, the Oberoi Group. Heartiest welcome. Can we have a round of applause for her? Moving ahead, we have Mr. Gursharan Bansal with us. He is CGM and Chief Sales Marketing Officer, India Post Payments Bank. Heartiest welcome to you, sir. Joining the panel, we have with us Mr. Anil Kumar, Muchhal, GM Customer Service, Borosil. Last but not the least, I would like to invite our moderator on the stage. We have Mr. Vikram with us. He's Area Director, Marketing and Communication, Radisson Hotel Group. Heartiest welcome to all our panelists and our moderator. Kindly take your seats, please. I would now like to request our moderator to kindly take this session forward.
Thank you. Am I audible? Yes. Thank you so much. And thank you so much for getting us on stage. It is the toughest part of keeping everybody awake. And we promise you we will try and be as less technical as possible and more engaging as we can. While the panel and myself will be interacting, I would like to open the house for all of you to please feel free to raise your hand, and in case you want to interrupt or ask any questions or join in anything that we are talking about, please feel free to do that. Today, in our hyper-connected world, really, engagement is not just about reaching out to the audience. It's actually creating a lot about creating relationships and personalized experiences across on various touch points. I think the idea of all of us sitting together through different industry panels and where we all belong to is to really showcase how we can, through various elements of loyalty, customer experience, operations, really build on that. And like our predecessor just said, in today's AI world, how is it so important for us to be relevant of what we create? And I think more importantly, from the industry that we all come from, where we are not just present today in a tier 1 or a tier 2 city. Today in India, the tier 3, tier 4 markets are probably growing at a faster pace in terms of growth as compared to a tier 1, tier 2, mainly because of what they see and what they aspire. So I think I'm delighted to have all of you here, not just from a single industry, which is hospitality, but to also be belonging to telecom, banking, insurance, and consumer goods. So without delaying any further, I'd like to start with Reena. That loyalty programs are evolving rapidly today, Reena. And, brands move beyond transactional rewards. It's actually about creating that emotional connect with your customer. Would you like to share how and why do you think that is relevant to have that emotional connect in the sphere of loyalty today?
Hello. Yeah. Thank you, Vikram, for such an interesting question. And what I would like to say is today, with the reduced attention span of our own consumers, it has reduced to almost like 7 seconds as per the last research which was published. It is more and more important to connect emotionally rather than transactionally. People talk about connecting mind and heart together for consumer to have a successful loyalty. Loyalty is not exactly, it is a derivation of various customer touch point or interaction which the guests have with the brand. And it is not an outcome of any one activity or a program. A consumer can become a member of a loyalty program, but unless and until the consumer has a very meaningful engagement, the customer will never be loyal to a brand. And that is where the emotional loyalty plays a very, very important role. Having worked across BFSI for last decade, where I handle a very mass brand like SBI cards. On other hand, I'm with American Express, I managed a very premium customer base. In both the cases, what we observed is that a brand doesn't mean the same thing to the consumer. Your brand will mean differently to different set of consumers. So there are consumers for whom you will be like a fallback option or a second choice. There will be another set of consumers for whom you will be, just a transactional brand or occasion-based brand. Or there are regular customer, and then there are customers who will be a brand evangelist. So how do you move the customer up the ladder? It is only through emotional connect and not the transactional offers or a discount or any other thing.
Very nicely put. I mean, emotions play a big role. And to keep that emotional connect, it is extremely important to also have that loyalty-based impact. Ruchita, I'd love to know your thought process on this particular point as well, please.
Yeah.
Can somebody check the mic for her?
Yeah, it's working. So yeah, I totally agree with Reena, and emotional connect is something which binds the customer to the brand or the company. At Axis Max Life, coming from a life insurance background, I can confirm on the fact that when you offer something transactionally to a customer, it doesn't last long. So at our company, we did a lot of loyalty programs in the past, wherein we identified some gold customers, silver, platinum customers, offered them some goodies and all that, differential product for that matter. But ultimately it really fade out. What really lasts is emotional loyalty. And in our category, it's so regulatory driven. We cannot offer discounts. We cannot offer, people wants Amazon subscription. We cannot offer all of that to them. So there is some bit of constraints also that we live in when it comes to transactional offering to the customer in our loyalty programs. And hence it was very well identified by us, at the right point of time that, emotional loyalty is something we need to build. One very important point that I would like to share is at Axis Max Life, we have started building how to measure loyalty at each and every point. So we have a very consistent and a very long-term measurement that is happening with us for close to 10 years now, wherein we measure the NPS score, which is the Net Promoter Score, at every touch point. The minute the customer ends that touch point, whether it's renewals, claims, or buying the policy, we measure that kind of experience and the loyalty that we have set with the customer based on that touch point. We also measure a relationship NPS, which is all about how I'm building a strong loyalty and a relationship with the customer, the bond that I'm building with the customer. So that helps us, be on our toes, be at there and ensuring the customer is satisfied at every point. That is where, we are able to build that relationship and leaving a better experience on every touch point. So there is a consistent measurement program, I think, that keeps us at toes.
Great. So I think what we all really sum up over here is that, yes, transactions are important. I mean, at the end of the day, that's where it starts and ends. But I think the fundamental fact that you have an emotional connect, which is stemming from trust, is very, very important to build on that loyalty element, which we all today, I think, are fighting on and for our relevant spaces in our respective industries. But moving on to my next question, and this definitely goes to Gursharan yourself, who is the Chief Sales Marketing Officer for Post Payment Bank, and you are a success story as far as the Tier 3, Tier 4 markets are concerned in India, as to how, just to keep up with times, we have really proved to the country that anything is possible at any point of time. I'd like to start with you with this question. You know, with customer expectations shifting constantly, what role does real-time personalization play in keeping engagement meaningful across various touch points and various tier cities that you are working with? So how meaningful is it really for you in terms of personalization?
In our case, since I represent India Post Payments Bank, which has got one of the world's largest physical distribution network across India. It is present across 165,000 post offices.
Fantastic. I mean, really, ladies and gentlemen, I'm sure we can give a round of applause for this.
Thank you.
For the sheer numbers that we're talking over here.
And it's an age-old institution, 150 years now, but, to make it more relevant, more meaningful for the people right deep into the rural areas, wherein the India Post branch is covering each and every village within a radius of 5 kilometers, which is a big feat. And imagine, having post offices in the jungles of Chhattisgarh or maybe, Nagaland or Arunachal and stuff. And, that's a real feat. And in fact, that's been our USP. Now, what you are saying is basically, what we brought to the table, when India Post Payment Bank was launched about 7 years back on 1st September 2018 by Honorable Prime Minister. We brought something called high touch. High touch was brought in, backed by high tech and high trust. High trust was already there. High touch was already there, and high tech was brought in, wherein, a customer who's, located deep into the rural areas, he is a beneficiary. He's listed on the beneficiary, for example, for a direct benefit transfer for various government schemes like even PM Kisan Swanidhi or maybe Matritva Vandana Yojana scheme or PEHL or something like that. But he did not have a savings bank account. And when he attempted to open a savings bank account, despite the fact that we had a big, movement for Jan Dhan Yojana accounts. Yes. But then these banks were all present, again in the cities, in the tier 1, 2, 3. Correct. And, they had to travel long distances to operate their account. So that was one of the biggest issues. And we opened the account. And that, again, the cost of opening an account was very high for the banks as well as for the customers. Minimum, and then there was a minimum average balance requirement, etc. But we started opening these accounts in a matter of 2 minutes just with the Aadhaar card, and all digital, not even a single paper signed. And, sometimes you would be, surprised to know that, when a person's or a Kisan's, old woman Kisan or a old farmer, his account was opened, PM Kisan Swanidhi, last 16 or 17 installment just walked into his account, and he was so, thrilled and happy about it.
I mean, talk about kind of personalization and taking it to a grassroots level across one of the world's fastest growing economy. I think it's definitely worth an applause. Thank you so much. Ruchita, representing Axis Life Insurance as well, Max Life Insurance. We'd love to know your thoughts on this and in terms of personalization, because adaptation is a big role in both the fields that you both represent. Yeah. We've seen a classic case how they've managed to adapt. We'd love to know from you, how are you managing these evolving times and personalization in this time?
Sure. So before I begin to answer this question, I would like to emphasize on the fact that personalization is not only messaging the customer at the right time, right moment, right message, so on. It is also about enabling every touch point, every seller, every caller, everybody who is interacting with the customer with the right kind of information so that he can have a personalized pitch with the customer. Okay, so at Axis Max Life, we are working on both the ends. We are ensuring whatever communication goes to the customer is personalized, is the one that he wants to read at the right point of time and the right kind of content. But it's also about I give that content to my last mile people who are interacting with the customer with that kind of information. So just for example, if my agent is suppose reaching out to any customer for cross-selling opportunity, I equip them with that kind of information that, what all policies he holds, what is the value that he has with those policies, has he interacted with us in the past, is he a detractor or a promoter for the company. So all of that information is fed to that person to ensure that when he goes to the customer, he is able to make a personalized pitch. That is one. Secondly, in our communication side, we have been able to develop a lot of AI-based, outcomes. Internally, we have established a Bharosa.ai, a function in itself who help us create content for the customer through artificial intelligence, which is again, personalized so that the customer sees a video which talks about his policy, his returns, his sum assured, and so on and so forth. It was also a game changer, not easy to do, and it took us some bit of time because there is a lot of information security norms that we had to surpass because it requires sharing of information here and there. But yes, that we have achieved. So I think personalization at both ends is needed across touch points, enabling every interaction with the customer and also all the sorts of communication that we do.
Fantastic. So I think for all of us to take away from this question really is when personalization happens at scale, it happens by enablement at every touch point and to be able to understand the need and the ask of the customer rather than just making it all about the organization. So great show and great numbers for both of you to talk about. But I'd like to move on to my next question, and let's start at this point of time with Narinder. You are part of Morepen Laboratories, and we'd love to understand this question because it relates to scale. And I'd like to know, Anil and Navneet, your thoughts on this as well, that what's the biggest challenge in delivering a personalized engagement at scale, especially when you're dealing with these numbers, and all three of you do? Is it data quality? While we have great technology, can technology sometimes become a bit of a deterrent? Or is it the speed at which you're creating the content which is part of the communication that you want to put out? So we'd love to know what is the biggest challenge that you face when you're doing it at scale and you're doing it in those numbers?
Thank you so much, Vikram. And I believe that the biggest challenge is data quality, because if the data has gone wrong, the other things will go at the same place. Technology and the content will go as per the data. If the data is misinterpreted and the customer, the sensitivity is there, and the depth of the data should be very accurate, very correct, so that the customer, the data is going to the customer, the person, then the whole of the things, the whole of the scenario gets according to the data only. So in our, it's a pharma company, Morepen is a pharma company. And our customers are all around the globe. In Loratadine, we have the best bulk drugs and Loratadine. Correct. We have global market, and then OTC products are there. Dr. Morepen is there. So customers are the premium things, and the data, the quality of the things should be on the accurate path so that we can build trust and we can have that transparency and authenticity with the customers, with our, so that they can trust us. As we have a basket of almost 800 products. So data quality has to be the premium quality. Then the technology comes, and then the content comes after that.
Great, okay, great. So data quality is definitely something that you think can become a big deterrent for you.
Thanks, Vikram. So I think before answering your question, I'd like to start with the touch points that we were talking about, the different touch points in the customer journey and why technology integration at each level is important. I think Siddharth really had a very wonderful session before this. I heard talk about AI, which is AI today, and maybe tomorrow it will be something else, right? I think it will be very important that just from the technology point of view, we also build in the empathy side of things, and we look at all of the things holistically. And one important problem which is there is the data quality, especially in our segments, which is tier 2, tier 3, tier 4, cities. We find a lot of gaps in data. And we see that, to reach a personalization, at scale, we need to have the data quality sorted. And that's what Flipkarts of the world and HDFCs of the world sorted before
Correct.
they initiated the entire,
Correct.
scale up. We saw Swiggy doing push notifications during IPL, and each of the region had different teams they were supporting,
True,
right? So
true.
they did play it really well, but without data, I think we are nowhere, right? So that's one thing which we need to sort out. And each of the touch point, right from discoverability, which is you're searching something online, the AI interaction which happens there, till the time retention, we reach the retention stage, right? So every touch point has a tech-enabled layer, but empathy has to really drive on our understanding of the customer, all of those things as well.
Fantastic. And, Navneet, with you, sorry, I'm going to put that now to Anil. You're in the forefront and you said more operationally driven. So fundamentally for you, personalization, when you look at that as something that is very critical to the business, what is the biggest deterrent? Is it quality of data, technology, or the speed at which content is going out?
I represent Borosil customer service. As Navneet mentioned, data quality is one part of the bottleneck. And the other part is the data integration. So you have right data, but if you're not integrating with the different channels properly, and there is a silos between different channels, then the data quality, whatever we have gathered, is not work properly. So data quality and data integration both together are the bottleneck for the personalization. In the personalization, first of all, we also need to understand what is personalization means. So as the guest mentioned, that it is not sending transactional message, birthday message, or some other reward points. It is to understand what is the customer intent, what he is actually looking, what he is searching, what his preferences, or what is the his budget. So all those things together will become, with the good data quality, give the better personalization experience to the customer. So in Borosil, what we used to do is we do a deeper research, not a wider research. What I mean from this is, so we do all the people from the different department, they interview customers, they visit personally to the customer and customer houses, and they understand their needs. So when you do the deeper research, you will understand what actually customer want of a different age group, different you can say different buying capacity. So this is how basically we do research, and we believe deeper research, deep dive in the data, and data, as I mentioned, data quality. So if you have not a good data, you put best algorithm. So you heard about a term called garbage in, garbage out.
Always.
So, and if the data is not synchronized, then the customer will lose interest. So data quality and obviously the data integration is the key part for the personalization.
So I think we all will agree from the panel as well at this point of time that to have effectiveness of personalization, which we all have to go back and use as a tagline, that we believe in personalization of services or personalization of any effectiveness. It's only as effective as the data that is actually being fed in, and we or anybody is being really fed on. So data really isn't that serial number on an Excel, but it's actually how important and authentic is that information on that Excel that actually takes it forward. Thank you. So I'm moving on to my next question, let's start with Reena yourself, that, how do you balance digital automation with the need to maintain a genuine human connection? In today's time and age, where everybody's really talking a lot about AI, talking a lot about automation, talking a lot about systems, how important or how do you as an organization maintain that balance? And especially considering that both you and me come from a very human-centric industry, which is hoteliering, how are you kind of pulling that off?
Absolutely. So as the panel has been talking about, data is a new oil, but it is also stated today that emotional quotient or emotional intelligence is more important than IQ. And we all will agree to that. Today the brand needs to be more empathetic towards the customer, and that is where the role of the moment of truth. I mean, currently I'm in the hospitality industry, and here, along with the digital touch point, the physical presence of the service itself matters the most. And that is where the customer experience the real moment of truth. Most of our customers, though they are digital savvy, they also like to have the human touch or interactions with our employee or colleagues at the hotel level. This is the same thing which I experienced at American Express. Like most of the guests, though they had a self-serve tool, a first line of defense that was being talked about in the earlier presentation, but most of my guests used to love interacting with our customer care associate because of the quality of interaction used to be the world class. So we really need to find a fine balance between the automation of all the processes and system, and yet we need to be physically present for our guest who really likes to interact with us in person. So that is what the challenge is, and Vikram, you would agree to that.
No, I completely agree. I think being a hotelier and a marketer myself, I do believe that with automation and digitization, as a hotelier, I think the need for the human touch has just become a lot more than what it was, because we are so surrounded by numbers and computer screens all the time for everything we want in life, that today, at some stage, and maybe it's my generation, maybe the younger lot sitting here may think differently, but I think today's need that we are observing more and more is the human touch, which seems to be going, which people crave for now, especially in certain industries in specific areas, because not everything can be answered by artificial intelligence. I'm going to put that question also to you, Ruchita, because with Access Max Life Insurance, you deal with a lot of people, and also the fact that there is a very, very important role of technology for the numbers that you achieve. So how are you doing that balancing act over there?
Yeah, so again, completely agree with Reena and Sayu. So basically, while there is a common, I would say, belief that AI can do a lot of things, AI can transform a lot of things, AI can build, convenience, AI can help you, transform a lot of processes. But human touch cannot go at the end of the day. So what we realized is that you have to come up with that kind of balance which Reena just now mentioned is the beauty. Okay, there is that beauty that how humans and AI can collaborate together to ultimately give the right experience to the customer. So you have to identify those touch points which are completely enabled by AI and which can be managed and giving the right kind of experience to the customer. Also, you have to identify those touch points which cannot be done without a human touch. I'll give you an example. In our industry, life insurance, we have claims, okay, which is a very sensitive point of moment of truth, I would say, wherein somebody has lost a near and dear member. In that case, a human touch you can't do away. You have to be there with the customer, ensuring that he sails through the entire process in a very seamless manner. And you cannot have him interacting with a bot or a system that just submit your documents and you are done. So those are those touch points which you can't avoid, and that balance is something which we have tried to build in. Similarly, in the onboarding experience, at the time of onboarding, we all know life insurance, everybody, while we think that we have evolved, but still when it comes to buying a life insurance product, we are all confused. We are all thinking that all products are same, what to do, all life insurance companies are same, what to do, and that is where a human touch comes into play, who tells us, who guides us through the entire selling process, and which company or which within that company which product to buy, what benefits that product will offer. And that is again a touch point where it requires a lot of human interaction. So the beauty is identifying those touch points, those avenues which can help you give a human interaction versus a AI based interaction.
Very interesting. I mean, I love the fact that both of you and myself included talk about this, but I'm going to switch this question around, and this is not something that I had prepared any one of you. And Gursharan sir, I'm going to actually throw this to you first, because I'm going to flip the question around. I'm going to say you have a success story of tier 3, tier 4 and the rural areas where it was all about human touch. It was all about relationships. You would only believe the person who you trusted. And you as a company brought in technology. And you expect people to believe that technology. You expected people to believe that you will open up an account and they can put their life savings into you. How did you balance that expectations where human touch was the only way and technology had to find its place?
Yeah, there's a concept called ETDBW. I mean, all of you probably would know that is easy to do business with, right? So what we are doing is, having a simple solution and high technology behind the solution. But that solution is backed by a human presence. So for example, let us say, our selling point. Today we have almost 3 million merchants also in the rural areas. And there is an ecosystem that we have created. And
you said 3 million?
3 million, 30 lakh merchants across India. And we enable them with QR codes. It's a low cost because we are working on a very low cost and low,
I'm sure we can cover a lot of European countries in that number for sure.
So today you would be surprised to know that we have 12.5 crore customers. 85% of them are in the rural areas. 48% of them are women customers, and 4.5 crore there is a mobile app download.
Can we just have that on WhatsApp? We at least know what our target audience are, ladies and gentlemen. We know where we have to go for asking for business from here on now.
And today, as you all know, that there's a penetration of almost 75% of smartphones in the rural areas, and people have started using. So today when we ask a merchant in a rural area, we tell him that tomorrow if there is an issue, if you face certain difficulty, there is always a postman nearby. And most of the people in the village, they have the phone numbers directly of the postman. They can just call up the postman, ki yaar, ye difficulty aa rahi hai, please come and solve it. And he will do that. And that is why the transactions today are multiplying. We are hardly a 7-year-old bank. And today we are the 10th largest bank in terms of the UPI transactions, right? So we are doing almost 6 crore transactions every day. And transaction per second ranges from 2,500 to almost 6,000 TPS, And the reason for that is the trust, backed by the fact that there is some human person who is, there to help them. So that is really...
Thank you so much. And I take it back to the same point that we said some time back, that personalization all builds around trust. So while you may have a lot of digital capabilities, you may have a lot of technology backing us up, which is essential in today's time and age, I think trust still plays a very important role, and you only get it over time. For paucity of time, and moving on to my last question, which I'm going to open, and let's start with you, sir, and take it across the panel over here. If you had to share one practice that made a lasting impact on a customer engagement in your organization, a lasting impact that your organization made onto a customer or to a customer journey or to an experience, what would that be? It could even be a campaign that your company ran, and you think that campaign or that particular activation that your company did has had a huge impact in your presence in the market in the competitive scenario.
Borosil is known for the
we all know Borosil, yes,
quality
I'm
and
sure,
trust.
yeah.
So there's a company which are coming and going. We initiated different segments, like Borosil is now in consumer electronics, Borosil is now in thermoflask, Borosil is now in SSF material. Various company came and they are now not in the market. But the one thing which we consistently carrying out with ourselves is the quality, is the trust of the people. So we are not running behind the numbers. So we don't want to grow rapidly. We don't want to compete other brand in terms of turnover. So we are going with our pace, slowly, and building the confidence with the quality and with the trust we have.
So I think the one practice that Borosil is very proud of and putting out over there is build the trust, the business will follow. Is that correct? Thank you. Sir.
So in our case, I would say that we have made a very big impact in terms of the direct benefit transfer. In fact, after State Bank of India today, we are the second largest DBT, disbursing bank across the country. And the reason for that and the lasting impact which brought about this change was the Aadhaar seeding. For example, today now the entire DBT flows in based on the Aadhaar ABPS system, Aadhaar Bridge Payment System. So the Government of India pushes it bases the Aadhaar numbers, and the Aadhaar seeding in the NPCI mapper has to be a must. So we brought in this concept of Aadhaar seeding, and in case somebody has got his account seeded in some other bank and he wants to change it to the other mapper, so there is some IN number exchange which has to happen, and that has to happen online, and that happened very fast. We introduced those APIs and we made that happen. And today, the customers trust us for their DBT. So today they say कि वो लाल कार्ड वाला हमें बैंक का खाता खुलवा दीजिए, हमारे पास जो है सब पैसा आ जाएगा जो हमारा रुका हुआ है. So that kind of trust we have built up, and that is the kind of impact that we have created. So basically, it is about digitization and the right kind of impactful areas we have worked on.
Thank you.
Our founder, I represent the Oberoi group, which has Oberoi Hotels and Resort and Trident Hotels in India. Our founder used to say that we don't want to be the largest or the biggest, but we want to be the best. So each and every employee or colleague of our company lives by that motto, and that represent in the marketing as well. So the thing which really have an everlasting impression for our customer or guest are the micro moments which we create when they are staying within our facilities or hotels. The surprise and delight element which each and every colleague strive to give it to the guest, and that is in the real moment of truth. Apart from it, all the digital touch points and all the seamless journey or the interaction which we create on a daily basis for our guests is something which we really proudly say are the best. So that's what makes us different from the rest of our competitors.
Thank you.
I think for us, one thing that really works and has been working for some time is the measurement. Okay, at Axis Max Live, we measure, like I said in the beginning also, we measure the customer experience at every touch point, every small interaction that he has had with us, whether human-based or AI-based, we measure that, and that percolates to the last mile at the company, So there are people, there is a real-time dashboard that is available. They can see real-time what is my customer saying about me. We can call back the customer. There is a detractor close looping that we do. And that kind of culture that we have established in the company, that everything that you're doing is ultimately getting measured. So if you leave an impact on the customer, you'll end up in a promoter. And if somewhere there is some gap that has happened, then you end up with a detractor. So those kind of customer obsession culture that we live with this kind of real time and robust measurement is something which has really worked for us. Yeah.
Great. Thank you. Thank you. So.
Okay, so we give loans, right? We are into lending. What could be the differentiator here? And I think someone was talking about the cashbacks, and when Google plugged those out, the usage went down. I think the biggest differentiator on loyalty is how you treat your customers, right? And how they feel engaging with you or doing those transactions with you. So we really, over time, I'm leading digital marketing for home credit, but in my view, customer has to take that step from 0 to 1 when he moves on to the digital journey, and that's what we have been building for last 3 to 5 years, right? We have not just turned around and gone digital everywhere. We have actually handhold the customer to take that step 1 and then step 2, because most of our segment is in that zone where they are not very tech savvy, right? So we have moved steps there slowly, and that's what differentiates us from the competition. So instead of just turning around, going AI, going digital, which is good, but you should have a human element in each of the journeys that the customer takes to have that differentiation, right?
Great, thank you.
Thank you so much. As I come from a healthcare industry, and I would like to highlight 2 things. One
Please.
is the main product where everyone has got at their homes is Bernol, right? So जलेगा तो Bernol ही चलेगा. So जितनी भी इंडस्ट्रीज में, जितने भी घर में अगर आप देखोगे, So Banal has to have be there. So the trust, the transparency, that we created since so many years, Banal is one of the best thing which is there at every home or tier 3, tier 4 segments anywhere. The second thing I would like to highlight is the PP monitors, glucometers. We are the largest in the industry. Plus, we have a app, Morepen Sync app, where you can get your sugar levels and your BPs checked by verbally saying it. You can download the app. It's completely free of cost. So we are at the global level. So that's what the trust we have built for the customers, for our clients, that Morepen Sync app, it can be downloaded, and you can get your health checkup done online as well.
Thank you. Thank you so much, everyone on this panel. And ladies and gentlemen, thank you for staying awake and listening to us. I think I'm just going to wrap up this session with a few takeaways today. And our session really was on customer engagement marketing, making a lasting impact. And I think after listening to all of us from various industries, I think what I really like to bring out and paraphrase today is that there is a fight and a war amongst all industry types to win trust, for you to believe and trust in the product that you buy, the product that you consume, and the product that you would like to own. Trust is the basis. Technology is an enabler. Humans are consumers. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you so much for your time and patience.
Thank you, sir, for moderating the session, and thanks to our panelists. And with this, I would like to request from Simple to Call, Mr. Sunny Suri, Assistant General Manager, Sales and CX, to please join me on the stage and kindly felicitate our speakers and moderator. Mr. Sunny Suri, heartiest welcome, sir. Let's have a big round of applause for him. May I request you, sir, to kindly felicitate Narinder Kaur, GM Corporate, Morepen Labs. Can we get the trophies on the stage, please? Huge round of applause, everyone, for Ms. Narinder Kaur. Next, I would like to request you, sir, to kindly felicitate Mr. Navneet Khurana, Vice President, Digital Marketing, Home Credit, India. Moving on, we would like to felicitate our next panelist, Ms. Ruchita Jain, Head AVP Customer Insights, Axis Max Life Insurance. May I request you to kindly felicitate Reena Jivani, DBP Marketing, the Oberoi Group. Moving on to the next panelist, we have Gursharan Bansal, CGM and Chief Sales Marketing Officer, India Post Payments Bank. May I request you to kindly felicitate Mr. Anil Kumar Muchhal, GM Customer Service, Borosil. Requesting you, sir, to kindly felicitate our moderator, Mr. Vikram, Area Director, Marketing and Communication, Radisson Hotel Group. It's time to have a group picture.